I've posted that we're going live. Oh, and we're live.
Yeah, we are.
So I've got Facebook open at the side, so if anyone leaves any questions there, we'll find them, but hopefully they'll follow the link over here. So if you guys can introduce yourselves and pimp your shows.
Yeah, Chris, you go first.
I think your mics. Let me see if I can fix that. Is that you or me that's done that?
I can still hear you just fine.
Can you hear Chris?
Me?
There we go.
Can you guys hear me though?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
Yeah, I thought I'd muted you there.
I think you did mute me. That's what it was. Okay. Like, wait, what did I do? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it.
I'm just pressing buttons. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So, Chris, introduce yourself and the name of your podcast.
Yeah, Braaten, you go first.
Okay. Yeah, we'll refer to each other as our names now, huh? Because there we go. Trying to get this set up. I was supposed to have, a computer, but for some reason the link Drew gave me doesn't want to work. Anyway, I am Chris Braaten from the More Gooder Than podcast, and we release every Wednesday. We're part of the Movie Pod Squad Network, and we take 3 similarly themed movies, and we decide which one is most goodest, which, such great grammar that everyone can just hold on to it. And so anyway, we've done things like Mountain Go Boom is one of my favorite episodes, and that's we took Volcano, Dante's Peak, and Pompeii, and volcano movies. And what else did we do? We've done. What's your favorite one, Toph? What's your favorite?
Back in the day, you did the Back to the Future movies.
Yeah, Back to the Future movies. That was a fun one.
And actually, I don't remember what the name of it was, but you did the war movies recently, like 2 or 3 episodes ago. That was terrific.
Yeah, that was called America Get Some. And then,
that's right. That's right. That was a great episode.
And that was Platoon, Saving Private Ryan, and Top Gun. So, but that's what we do. We try and make people laugh. We're not movie experts, but we do chortle and guffaw most of the time. So. And I'm a big fan of Drew Carson. Big fan.
You're the only one.
I'm your number one fan, Drew. I am your number one fan.
If you're 1A, then I'm 1B.
Yeah, 1A, 1B, right.
I'm happy to be 1B, but I'm number 1.
Yeah, I think possibly only have 2 fans.
Yeah, it's us 2, and we're on your show right now.
Yeah.
Your entire fan base is on your show at the same time.
Yep, that's going to be great.
Does
for
your wife
good numbers?
Yeah. Do you does your wife listen to your show, Drew?
Fuck no.
And Chris, yours doesn't, right? Your wife doesn't listen to your show.
I'm not sure my wife knows I have a podcast.
Right. Yeah.
My children know.
He's disappeared.
Yeah.
She just assumes that you're having a really not quite expensive affair. Like it's.
Yeah, I'm disappearing somewhere for 20 or 30 hours a week, and she's just making up reasons, I guess, in her mind.
Yeah.
My turn?
Yep. You should grow a beard.
That's a good segue. I am Chris Green. A lot of people know me as the Toph. I am the host of the GravityBeards podcast. And I wouldn't actually know what my show is about or be able to tell anyone what it's about if it wasn't for Chris Braaten. It turns out, unbeknownst to me, I have an interview and discussion show, and that's what it's evolved into. So I'll either go one-on-one with guests, and we've had a ton of good guests. I've had Derek Godsey, who thinks he may have solved the DB Cooper case. I've had former child actors. I've had,
he did solve it. I believe he did.
He's having trouble convincing people that he did, but he may have solved it. Actually, I haven't posted it yet. It'll come out in a couple of weeks, but I just had an author on who we talk about Derek when we talk about that guy's book. That'll be great. I had a YouTube star. I had the Hounds of Czar, which I told Drew about. That's a terrific band, endlessly entertaining, from Swansea, South Wales. We've done kind of multi-episode series like the Bad Date Stories. And then we've recently launched a platform that we're going to be using quite a bit on the show going forward called This Week Today, which is a 20 or 25-minute kind of fast-paced platform that we're using where we go through stuff that happened in history that week, whatever week it is that we're hosting the show. So I've had my kids on the show. They're super adorable and hilarious. I've also had other podcasters on.
So cute.
And so, it's an interview discussion show, but most of the time it's comedy and it's entertaining. Other times we get serious, not very often. Sometimes we get serious without me even expecting it. I get something comes out of left field. And we just had our one year anniversary, so it's been a ton of fun. Oh, and I do want to mention this, just one more thing. And that's we've gotten real focused on, as independent podcasters, we've gotten recently very focused on supporting independent podcasters. So we started a group called the Underdog Podcast Community on Facebook. And so anybody that's a fan of, listener to, or creator of independent podcasts can come out to Facebook and find us there. We're also on Twitter at Underdog Pods. And so, we just, it's tough out there for independent podcasters to find an audience. And so we want to support and encourage each other. And we set that, not that I recognize that there's lots of Facebook groups for podcasts and for independent podcasters, but none that focuses exclusively on that. And so that's what we wanted to do.
Yeah, most of them focus exclusively on podcast gurus.
Yeah.
I'm a podcast guru.
Well, best I can tell, both of you are. And I didn't expect it to come up this early in the show, but I was going to bring this up. Believe me, I was.
I find that quite offensive, being called a podcast guru, to be honest.
Well, I don't think there's not a better way to have an entertaining show than to insult the host, right? I just want to get that going right away.
Chris, you're not insulting, are you? I mean, Drew, you never insulted anyone, have you?
Never.
No.
Except every guest I've ever had on my show.
Have you ever insulted anyone? Have you ever insulted anyone from like the A team? Ever? Have you ever done that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever insulted? Have you ever insulted like maybe the president of and founder of Smile Time? You ever insulted that guy?
Yeah, that was by accident though. On episode 1 of the Haver, we had one viewer, and it was him, and I didn't know who it was, and I called him a cunt. Apparently, that's offensive. It's probably why my show never worked on that app.
Shut it down! Shut it down! Shut down this stupid show. Okay, I'm gonna figure out a stand for this, and we're gonna have a good time. Oh,
I don't really want you to because it makes me feel like we're on a roller coaster together, which I'm enjoying.
We are on a roller coaster. A roller coaster of love is what we're on right now.
And I do think you need roller coaster. I do think you need to explain the story behind your pink headphones.
Pink headphones? They're my daughter's.
Yeah, well, I would imagine. Where are your own headphones?
My own headphones are wherever my daughter put my own headphones. That's where they are. So hers are now mine. No, we just moved, so there's a lot of stuff that we're missing in the move, which has been like I can't find a cord to my other laptop, which is annoying, and then I can't find my headphones, so I got these, which I like pink, so it's not that big of a deal to me. I found out that most of my clothes are pink, and they've actually are by choice. It's not like it's not that I've washed some red stuff with white stuff in the laundry. So Drew wears a lot of pink.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
So Drew, before we get off the topic altogether, I do want to dig more deeply into the podcast coaching guru conversation, if you don't mind. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I know the answer, but I'm going to ask the questions anyways, and we're just going to have the conversation because there's no rules here, right? That's the premise of the show.
Yeah, no rules.
So clearly,
Just right.
There's what? Say that again, Chris.
No rules, just right.
That's right. Okay, so again, I'm just dragging out the information. This is not my position. I just want to have the conversation. So there's everybody that gets into podcasting has to get on the learning curve. You know, they don't know necessarily what to do. There's a lot of technical aspects to it. They've got a lot of things to figure out from A to Z. Okay, and they've got to go somewhere for that information. And then you've got other people that have done it for a while and have that experience and can help those people that don't have the information. And it's pretty common in other industries for some group of people to come around and band together and offer this information, this assistance or whatever, and charge money for it.
Mm-hmm.
Why? And again, I'm not defending them. I want to know why that's not embraced. It's not just embraced. People hate it, right? It's not just you. People really rail against or push back against people that claim to be gurus or coaches or try to get assistance or try to get paid for assisting other podcasters. Explain why that is.
Because most of them haven't actually ran a podcast either successfully or at all in general in their life, and they're giving advice to people who are in the same position as them, except the people giving the advice are getting money for it and just being complete arseholes. I would say 98% of all podcast gurus going at the moment are frauds and scumbags that are just taking money off people that want to learn to do something that they enjoy, that they'd be better off just asking other people that are podcasting at the moment. Like when people come in a group and they ask advice, you know, people tend to give advice. Some of it's shit advice, but some of it's all right advice. Usually if it's advice from me, I would take it with a pinch of salt if it's to do with technology. But
a slice of haggis.
Yeah. But yeah, most podcast gurus, like I've had folk, when I joined another podcast group to begin with, I think it was the Podcast Discovery Centre, when I joined that, I was about a year into my old podcast. I was getting about 12,500, 13,000 downloads a week, and I had a guy tell me he could get me twice that amount of downloads if I paid him $500 for an hour's worth of training.
An hour? Yeah. 500 for an hour.
He was on Podbean, so I looked up his podcast, and he was averaging 27 downloads a week.
Wow. So how are you able to know what his numbers were?
It tells you go on Podbean, it tells you what everyone's download numbers are.
Oh, really? I don't think I knew that.
Okay. Yeah. You go on it, you'll see mine. Mine's are shit at the moment because I'm an offensive guy.
Well, 12,000 a week. 12,000 a week, obviously. For people that don't know much about podcasting, that's a gigantic number, right?
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's almost pro level podcasting. Mm. Okay, so hypothetically, if someone was to come around, and maybe they don't have gigantic numbers for their podcast, but they were a legitimate expert and could give real advice. Is that something you still object to, or is that okay?
No, that's okay. If someone actually knows what they're talking about, that's fine. Like, I would never consider myself that in a position where I should be telling someone how they should or shouldn't do a show, because there's no real cookie cutter formula for making a successful podcast. Every podcast is different. People have great success.
I disagree. It's always the same. Join Twitter groups, social media, fans. Do what you love. It's the same. every time someone asks that, it's always the exact same. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's true. There is some truth to that. Okay, so because so there certainly are people that by trade are audio experts. You know, certainly there's people that come from technical fields,
Yeah.
That can provide legitimate, real expert information. Where it gets cloudy, in my opinion, is when you're dealing with how to grow your audience or how to formulate your show, or when you get into stylistic issues. You know, I think, Chris, you're the one that estimated in a previous conversation with me that there might be somewhere around 200,000 or 300,000 total podcasts out in the world somewhere. And this is the, you know, podcasting as a community, as a thing, is the wild, wild west, right? There's some basic fundamentals, but it's not untrue to say there's kind of no rules compared to TV or radio or other things that are very formulaic and have a lot of boundaries and things you have to work around. That's not the case, you know, in podcasting. There's no rules on the link that you have to do, the content, the words you can say. There's none of that. Ads, no ads. You can do whatever you want by comparison to a lot of other media platforms. And so where it gets cloudy is when people start giving you opinions on what you should do formulaically with your show, you know, the style or whatever. There's a dozen or dozens of different things. And those are just opinions. That's entirely subjective. You just ask that guy. How could you possibly get away with that in most situations? You can't. So I think that's where some frustration might come from, is that people are just giving you their opinion, and there's no right way to do that type of stuff. And then it's what Chris says, which is, if you love it and you're not super uptight about having 7 listeners a week or whatever, and it's a great creative outlet for you, then good for you, man. Right? Like it's
that's all that matters.
Yeah, it's about the numbers in that you don't want to have 0, right? You don't want to just be a screaming idiot, you know, out in the middle of the woods by yourself. But honestly, if you do want to do that and you still love it, fine, whatever. Now we're not trying to draw advertisers necessarily, because the reality is it's really hard to do that. So I think, and here's the other thing is, and this is actually, Drew, where I thought your answer might come from, is that the podcast community is one of the greatest communities to be a part of, whether that be an industry or professional field or just a hobby. It's one of the greatest communities out in the world. And the reason it is because everybody has this understanding and this feeling that we're all in this together. We're all trying to do the same thing. We all love what we do, and we're all creative people. And it just kind of fosters this encouragement and support. And everybody's basically nice, right? Which is interesting, because you have this giant spectrum of personalities, huge spectrum, as wide as there is in the world. And yet somehow we all get along. We're united by this one thing, and that's we all like to podcast. And it's this thing that's going to continue to grow. It's 200,000 or 300,000 now. Next few years, it might be closer to 1 million. And I hope the community stays the same. But what I thought you were going to say is that everybody loves to support each other, because we're all trying to figure it out, whether it be the technical or the creative side of it. And so we're all willing to give each other free advice. You go into a group that's got a few thousand people in it, and you post, "Hey, I got this question," or "I need your opinion." You'll get a couple hundred responses.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why you don't necessarily have to pay someone, or that's the reason why it might not be quite right for someone to come and try to take money for stuff that we're all willing to give each other for free, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Well,
we're not experts.
It comes to also,
you can crowdsource your answer.
Yeah, we do. Well, my thing is, how many times have we done stingers for each other or promos?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like those type of things. Like, could you imagine if I charged you for me to say, "Hey," like that's the whole thing, is that we do almost all this stuff. We all understand that almost none of us are making money off of this.
I'd say we're all losers, probably.
So that's the whole thing, is that, yeah, I mean, so to say that, like, I'll do something, there's going to be 10 guys that'll do it for free for you, and I'll charge you. Usually, what gets my goat, and I think that's what you're saying, huh, Chris?
Yes, that's what I'm getting at, exactly. And like Drew said, there's probably 2% of the people out there that are legit, that probably deserve for us to give them money for whatever help they give us. And I could talk about somebody I'm getting help from right now. And I'm almost having trouble giving him money because he doesn't want it, which is ridiculous on his part. But that's a tiny percentage, and whatever you need is probably out there in the community for free. And so, yeah, for people to try to profit off of that, and that's the thing. That's the thing you hit on, Chris, is that 99.9% of podcasters out there, even successful ones, like Drew, that have drawn thousands of listens a week, we're not making any money. It's very, very hard to monetize a podcast. And so you don't have to be in it for very long before you realize that. And then you settle in and you get less uptight about that, about making money or drawing numbers. And then you realize, I'm just doing this because I love it. And the day that I stop loving it, I should quit. But as long as I do, I'm going to keep doing it. And I'm not going to worry about numbers. And I'm not going to worry about money. It's a hobby. It's like fishing or golfing or cycling or whatever. It's a hobby. And so since there is a giant community of places for free advice, it doesn't seem quite right for people to come in and try to charge for it. I think that's the thing.
Well, here's the other thing too. There are the people that I think that are legit are people that offer be a producer, because there's some people that can't do the technical side of it.
Yep.
So if you have somebody that will edit sound clips, put in or people that do music too. There's that too. Like if people like, those are legitimate skills that some people literally can't do. Like they don't have. So to me, if you're going to produce a show for somebody, that's a whole nother ballpark. And those people I find legit. So because like if I didn't have Corey, my co-host, I couldn't do a show. I don't have any of the equipment or I mean, I could. Obviously I can learn it because something. I mean, you did, Toph. So I mean, anyone can do it, right?
Yeah, I'm getting away with the bare minimum for sure. But I recently connected with. I asked for.
You got some new swag though. You got new stuff.
Well, speaking of not making money and just digging a hole with your podcast, I just dropped some coin on some new equipment. So I almost hesitate to mention that because now people's expectation is that my show is going to sound better, and that's only if I use this. And it doesn't matter what I spend; I still have to use it correctly.
Right.
I can spend $10,000 on equipment, but if I don't know what the hell I'm doing, then it's still going to sound like crap.
That's the I always find theories that people give is about the equipment. You should spend all this money on equipment, and you're like, yeah, but if the person doesn't have a personality, what the fuck does it matter how good they sound?
Yeah. Well, and I put out a Twitter poll asking people what their most important thing was, and overwhelmingly it was content, right? It was content one, and then it was the hosts. So they have to like what you're talking about, and they have to like who's doing the talking, and like sound quality or length was third or fourth or fifth on the list. So, and that's listeners of independent shows.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, listeners of independent shows are willing to give a lot of leeway in terms of sound quality, for sure.
Yep, absolutely. Excuse me.
Yeah, Kel, my first podcast sounded like shit for like 28 episodes or something, till I worked out how to actually do some stuff when it came to editing. Half the time there was an echo and my guest was a lot louder than me or something like that, you know. It took quite a while for me to work all that kind of shit out.
Yeah, well, and I'm.
So Drew, you're.
No, go ahead, Chris.
You're like 9 feet tall, right?
Not quite. I'm 6'6".
Yeah, 9 feet tall. Same thing. Exact same thing.
That's about the same thing.
And after 6'4", it's all just 9 feet tall to me.
Mm-hmm.
So
how tall are you, Chris?
So do you have to get a special mic? I'm 6'1". So I'm 6'1".
Well, I think I could fit in either one of your pockets. Now, I think one thing that Chris is doing me the favor of is he's creating great transitions, because I wanted to talk to you about that as well. So Chris has known you a little longer than I have, and he knows more about you than I do.
Just a smidge.
Yeah, he tells me that you are an MMA fighter. Is that true?
Yeah, some people say, yeah.
Well, don't be bashful.
See, okay, so here's real quick transition to it. The way I talk about you, Drew, is like you're like Paul Bunyan, like you're like this legendary figure like your mix of like Paul Bunyan and
Maybe like Goliath.
and William Wallace, and kind of like Goliath and a little bit of like Satan all mixed into one. And like it, like you're this like legendary figure. I've been telling Chris Green stories about you, and like he thinks I'm making it up. Like you're like
No,
a folk hero.
I don't. But it does make legends
You're
like a
like a
legend,
podcast folk hero.
like a mythical creature.
Corn or a centaur.
Yeah.
Just like.
Yeah, not
Well,
quite.
no. It's not that I don't believe you. It just made me very, very eager. Okay, so first of all, I wanted to have you on my show anyways, and so we just haven't connected for whatever reason. But then when you said, "Hey, do you want to come on the Haver?" I was like, "Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? Of course I do. I absolutely want to do this." And then the more that Chris told me about you, I was like, "Well, I'm going to end up interviewing Drew. It's not going to be vice versa. I have so many questions. I have so many things. I'm just going to hijack the show, and I'm just going to make it my own." And so I have all these things that I wanted to ask you about. Obviously, I wanted to get into podcast gurus because we've gone back and forth on that a ton. So that's well documented. But then he mentioned MMA, and then he mentioned that you were 9 feet tall. And then I thought, well, that was territory I wasn't even aware of that we're going to have to explore. So tell me as much as you want to. Tell me about your MMA background.
It's just fucked about in it for a while, and that's about it. It's not like I'm a world beater or anything, you know. I'm just fucked about for a while.
Okay, so you flirted with MMA the same way that I flirted with.
You fight since you fight.
Depends if you mean legit fights or in a street type situation.
all of them.
I try to think. Well, for street fights, probably we're talking triple digits, but for legit fights,
So if this was daytime and you're
17.
What was that number again?
17, something like that.
Yeah, that's no joke. Okay, so if you were going to leave your house right now and it was daytime and you're going to go get a sandwich, do you think you can make it down there and back without getting in a fight with someone?
Possibly.
What a weird question.
It would depend what time of day it was.
Most podcast viewers.
Most people that live around where I live are kind of like, on smack or something. So if it's early in the morning, they're still sleeping. So it's fine. If it's afternoon, then possibly.
If they've woken up from their slumber.
Yeah.
See, Chris, that's a weird question to ask any other human, but it's a perfectly legitimate question to ask Drew Carson.
Right. I told you. Well, he was not going to disappoint.
Yeah, I feel like that question is on point. If it's Drew that you're asking.
Yeah, I think maybe 2 months since I was last in a altercation in it. So,
it's been a whole 2 months.
Yeah. It's like when people give up smoking, and it's like that's one of the landmark numbers.
Yeah, you're making X's on a calendar on your wall.
Yeah.
Your wife's like, way to go. Now we're in a multiple weeks now. So proud of you. Not randomly beating someone up.
I always, Drew's wife is just constantly like this. Just, Drew.
Yeah. Pretty much. My wife's a nurse, so that makes it even funnier.
What?
I guarantee you Drew's wife is a saint.
Well, yeah, because opposites attract, right?
Pretty much,
right. Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she's probably the sweetest woman on the planet. Okay, so related to staying on the MMA topic, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So Chris is 6'1", you're at least 9 feet tall, we've determined. And I would bet. Let me just bet, because you're not an overweight fella. You know, you're probably carrying your 6'6" pretty well.
Not
So
particularly, no.
I don't know. You look pretty svelte from here. So what do you weigh? Do you weigh 2.5?
About
250?
I think 295 the last time I weighed myself.
Is it 295?
Yeah.
So you're nearly 300 pounds. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you're and probably a fairly strong fella since you're in MMA. Okay, so just to put it in perspective, you weigh 2x. You're almost 2x what I am. I weigh about $1.50, and I'm 5'10". Not a very large fella. So I'm curious, because I know like you and I are almost just opposite humans. Let's just be honest. Okay. And that's okay. I'm cool with that. We're not the slightest bit similar, and I like that. That makes me even more excited that I'm on your show. So my question is, clearly, if you and I were going to fight, you would just tear me in half. You would just shred me like a badger. But if I was a trained MMA fighter, is there anybody that would be half your weight? Is there any set of skills or level of skill that they could have where they could give you a pretty good tussle? Is that possible?
Well, pretty much any professional fighter that's half my weight would probably beat the shit out of me.
all right, but let's just say they're at or slightly above. I just want to know
Chris,
in the go ahead.
Your crotch height to him, so just punch him right in the crotch.
That's a great point.
Just like, and then just do this to him. It's like a punch, like a speed bag.
I mean,
like,
don't think I wouldn't fight dirty and try to throw sand in his face or whatnot. And I would definitely go for the groin, because what else are you going to do? And I'm not surprised you would make that suggestion, because you are obsessed with genitals. But
yep.
I was just wondering if somebody that was much smaller than you, and not necessarily professional, but just at a higher level, you know, is there a skill? Are there skills that they could use for someone that's so much smaller that could take someone so much bigger? It sounds like there is, right?
Yeah, well, if you've got quicker footwork, you've got better stamina. Pretty much, that's what's going to carry you through.
Maybe unexpectedly leap between your legs and come from behind.
Well,
they might get smacking your nuts.
They might get their head stamped on, but yeah.
Just use your nutsack as a punching bag. If I could pull that off.
Exactly.
I just want to know if I come across someone on your side, if there's anything I can do to prepare myself that I could get the better of you.
Well, if you...
Yeah, run.
Drew, do you think? I mean, your strides are much bigger than I. Is there any chance I could outrun you?
Oh, you could outrun me easy, yeah. I'm out of shape like fuck, so...
Okay.
I can run maybe about the length of myself, that's about it.
Okay. I can use my speed to my advantage.
Yeah. It's like if Conor McGregor fought...
just real quick, I don't think Chris Green is that fast. Just to throw it out there.
Okay. All right. I just want you to know, just because you said that I've convinced all my children that I'm like a bolt of lightning. They think I'm wicked fast. Yeah, for sure. I got a story about that if you want me to take a couple minutes and tell you.
No,
don't think I didn't come to the show without stories. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and tell that story then. So I have a 15-year-old, but at the time he was 6, and we went out to he and I went someplace, and it was in a huge parking lot. And I said, and we got out of the car, and we were really far from the building we were going to. And I said, hey, let's have a foot race. and he thought that was a great idea. And so I gave him a huge head start. And I obviously I was a grown adult and he was 6. But I caught up to him and went blazing past him. And I bet you to this day he still is under the illusion that I've got wicked foot speed. So if you can manipulate and fool your children, and Chris, I think you know that.
Yeah, what is it? My kids thought I was they think I'm an elf for Santa.
Oh, for sure.
Like Santa, like I'm an actual elf. that like I'm not like they don't think I'm human, and that I'm actually an elf, which is funny because I'm a 6'1" hairy Bagrius. So that makes them part elf too, which they're really excited about. That they love that part.
For sure.
So yes, that makes them half. That makes them half elf.
Huh.
Oh no, they think about it. There was a they figured it out because basically what it was is that I dress up as Santa every Christmas for parties. I have a pretty solid Santa suit, and
Sure.
Anyway, and so like I gray up my beard, I'll grow out my beard and stuff, and wigs and stuff. So anyway, it's a lot of fun. I love doing it. I love Christmas. So but when I did it the first time when my oldest was born, he immediately just like, oh hi daddy, just didn't even trick her for a second. And so like we had to explain that like daddy isn't, because then she thought I was the real Santa Claus deal, because then she was mad that I wasn't taking her to the North Pole, or I wasn't introducing her to the reindeer. Why is mommy not with me at Christmas and she's Mrs. Claus? Like, there was a whole lot of like questions for that. So I couldn't just be Santa Claus, so then it turned into me being an elf. That makes it a lot better.
Absolutely.
And then they figured it out later. For a while, they're like, wait a second. So that means that we're half elf. Do we have special powers? Like, no, you have to be full elf to have special powers, but it's cool. Yeah. So anyway.
So have they made the connection and asked you if your parents are elves? Then have they gone that far?
No, they just learned that my parents have names, so that threw them for a loop.
Yeah, no kidding.
So,
that's like running into your school teacher at the grocery store.
But you have right.
And so then your wife not an elf.
No, she's not an elf.
Okay.
But she does make cookies, so that's nice.
I mean, that's all that matters, right?
All that matters.
Okay. Now, Drew, I would assume none of your family members are elves.
No, they're Scottish folklore. I'm not deep into Scottish folklore. They're probably like Ents. And since you're so tall, are you from Lord of the Rings, Drew? Fess up. Fess up, Drew. You're Treebeard. You're Treebeard from Lord of the Rings. You're an Ent.
No, my family's Scottish, so we're all raving alcoholics. Bigots, possibly. If you go by what we're supposed to be traditionally.
Yeah, I like it that that Drew fits all of the stereotypes that he should. Yeah, that's helpful. Because you get exactly what you expect, which is refreshing in life. That's not the case most places these days. You got to size people up, but with Drew, you know exactly what you get.
Yeah, a lot of swearing words.
Because Chris, Texas, so he only wears belt buckles and cowboy hats.
That's right. I don't actually own a car. I take a horse everywhere.
Right. You take a horse, being a giant longhorn steer, and then you sweat barbecue sauce directly onto the steak that you eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
That's correct. We eat red meat 3 times a day.
Oh,
all of that is true.
Is just going. Your colon has just got to be just full of just red meat like John Wayne.
Mm-hmm. All of that is true.
Yeah, definitely explains the way John Wayne walked.
Yes, it does.
That weird, yeah. Well, I'm constipated, Pilgrim. The worst John Wayne impression. That's the worst.
Hey, Chris, do you I've heard a lot of, obviously I've heard
Yes.
a ton of your episodes, almost all of them, but you don't do a ton of impersonations, do you?
I do not, because they all just end up being Jamaican in the end. My shtick is screaming, laughing, and singing. That's all I got going on.
Oh, yes.
No, but yeah, every time I do an impression, it just whether I'm doing, it just ends up being a Jamaican impression, and which is ridiculous. So impression. But my co-hosts, they constantly do impressions, and they're my favorite thing in the world because they're also ridiculous as well. But theirs don't go Jamaican, so
yeah. I think I would have expected most of yours to go Australian.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, it'll start for sure, like the first 3 or 4 beats. Then all of a sudden, I'll be getting my steel drum out and just taking it to Bermuda, and then just landing in Kingston and just in the Jamaican coastline, no matter what it is. It's a run, but my dad does it too, which is weird. So it just runs in the family. Like, it must be genetic, be predisposed to not being able to do accents. So
okay, so Chris, you live in California, but you're a Packers fan. So remind me what your connection is to Wisconsin.
my dad's side of the family, they're from Wisconsin. So my mom, on my mom's side, everyone's from New England, mainly from. You'd think I'd go New England, but no. And then actually, my first football game I ever watched was a Green Bay game, and Brett Favre, who's one of my all-time heroes for sports, he was playing, and I just thought he was the greatest thing ever, and I've been a fan ever since. So that was, gosh, I was in 5th or 6th grade, watch, and yeah, so I've just been a fan ever since. And you're a big Redskins fan, right, Chris? You love the Redskins.
Oh, love the
Philadelphia Eagles, right? Those are your
for sure.
Yeah, Redskins and the Eagles. Yeah.
I was a Giants fan for a while, but then I switched to the Redskins and the Eagles.
How about them boys? Boys.
You know what though? Everybody better just temper their enthusiasm for this upcoming season. I think there's going to be a considerable drop off.
You guys are winning. You're winning 10 games at best, for sure. 10 games at best.
Yeah, I think the biggest line might be 8.5 or 9.
Oh, really? Drew. So what we're talking, this is called American football, and what happens is that there's these teams, and they play with. It's not really. They don't really touch their feet to it that often. It should be called football. It should be called hand egg. It's an egg. So what is that? I'm being attacked by somebody. Hold on a second. Okay.
I don't think hand egg.
It's not a roaming band of meth heads.
I don't think hand egg.
Do you like rugby or soccer more? Hand egg is going to make a comeback. Don't worry. Hand egg is going to be the thing. That's what we're calling it. Drew, are you a bigger rugby fan or a soccer fan?
Soccer, or as we call it in Scotland, football.
Okay,
there's another name for soccer? Freaking Americans, we suck. Americans suck.
So Drew, what do you think when someone calls football soccer? Does the word just grate on you?
Not really. They do it all the time in Australia and places like that as well.
Okay.
There's English people that call it soccer, which is weirder to me because it's that's where the sport was invented and they've started changing the name yet.
Yeah, they're calling their own sport by the wrong name.
Yeah. It's not like the anyone goes around calling cricket shitty bat ball game or something.
I wish they would.
They should. It's like
They
the
should. Yeah,
it's like the worst sport ever. It's like, what's the point of it? I can't know. It's like comes on the telly and it's like instantly change the channel.
Right.
Posh boy
I
sport.
tried watching it one time, and I tried watching it once, and I couldn't handle. I actually died for like 30 seconds of boredom.
You just went brain
And
dead.
then they brought me back to life by playing a football game, American football game, and then I was able to survive that way, and then and they played like some good old country western something or other about love, not soccer. I didn't like soccer until recently, like watching the World Cup with my brother-in-law. He's a big soccer fan, and so watching the World Cup, I do enjoy that. That's about the only time that I watch soccer.
So I think we're in the middle of World Cup qualifying right now, aren't we, Drew?
Yeah, it's not going too good for Scotland.
Oh,
as per usual.
I was supposed to ask you. I have a friend of mine. I told him I was going to be on the show with someone from Scotland. He referenced some match, and I don't know what match it was because I don't follow soccer. But I was going to ask you how it was going or whatever. But now I think I know.
Yeah, Scotland just played England at the weekend, and it was a draw. But it was one of those. Scotland was winning right up till like injury time, and England scored in the 93rd minute, and then that was it. The referee blew the whistle for the end of the game, which is fun.
Here's the difference. Here's where I'm going to stop you there. You say Scotland is winning, even though it's 0-0. You can't say someone's winning.
No, it was 2-1.
The scores are 0-0.
It's
2-1. Oh,
yeah.
okay. You said it was a draw.
So they scored to make it a draw.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Okay, so I think one of the things that's confusing to people that watch
Well, now
soccer.
I feel like a dick. I don't like that.
So for people that don't watch soccer, here's something that I think they find confusing, and that's and I'm not even going to use the right term, but it's just extra time. What's the time where the clock keeps going past the time that it looks like it should? What is that called?
Injury time.
You say injury time?
Yeah, it's they now do. I believe it's a minute for every substitution that's happened during the game, and they add on time for if someone get carted off in a stretcher, they add on the time that it took them to get off the pitch.
Ah, okay.
Because you guys don't have timeout. There's no timeouts.
No.
Everything just keeps going. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so for someone that follows it, is that weird for the people that are watching the game not to know when the game actually ends? Is that strange?
Yeah, because a lot of the time it comes up that they're going to play like 5 minutes and then they don't. They play either 2 minutes or they play like 8 minutes. It's never what they bloody say it's going to be. So it's like pot luck depending on what referee you've got.
Right. Okay. So.
Oh, NFL fans would lose their minds if that happened. They would lose it if like all of a sudden like, now we're just going to play for 2 minutes.
Well, I mean, that would be a round amount of time. If in soccer, it's more like, hey, we're going to play for 6 minutes and 19 seconds.
Yeah.
It's not even a square amount of time. So in your opinion, for a soccer fan, soccer's been around forever, would it be better if they just had timeouts and they still ended the game? They just had timeouts. If someone got injured, they just stopped the clock. Would you prefer that, or do you like the way it is?
To be honest, it's all right the way it is as long as you're winning. I support like a team that's shit.
That's what beer's for, Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point.
The team I support usually gets beat quite a lot, so it's the amount of time added on at the end doesn't really affect that. They're getting beat anyway, so.
So you don't mind because it's inconsequential to your world. Yeah, that makes sense.
You get
Hey, Drew, what's the team you support? Because I'm going to support that team now. That's going to be my team.
Yeah, me too.
team I support is called Airdrie because it's the town I grew up in. So it's well, depending on what website you go to, they're either called Airdrie United or Airdrieonians. Reason for that is they were called Airdrieonians for 100 and something years, and then they went out of business and they came back as Airdrie United, but they recently changed their name back. But for some reason, a lot of websites haven't updated for that. So,
all right. So Adrian United.
yeah.
Do we have a song that we chant? Do we chant something?
Not many that are PC.
Oh, even better. That's even
Well,
better.
What are our new gang colors?
When I was, it's white top with like a red diamond on it. It's quite historic, the top, because there's a team in Spain and a team in France that copied it that we then got a load of money out of because they copied our strip. So that's fun. But back when I was wee, so when I was about 8 or 9, and the crowd
used to be a soccer team.
Used to be a lot less PC than they are now. There used to be a song that they sang to a particular football team, which was "You are HIV, ha ha."
Oh dear!
And it was because
that's terrible. Oh my gosh!
Because
so
one
bad.
of the players that played for that team had got HIV.
Oh my goodness!
Yes, that's the level of PC-ness that you get at soccer.
And that's if you leave the match alive.
That makes so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Wow.
there's only 3 possibilities. I was gonna say there's only 3 possibilities.
Because I'm going to become a new fan.
Well, actually, go ahead and do that. But I was going to ask you to just go ahead and message us a link to their website so we know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Yeah, by all means.
You just got 2 new, whatever it is that you said before, United. So that's my new soccer team.
So Drew, what league does that team play in?
I believe it's called the First Division now. It used to be called the Second Division, but they renamed all the leagues. So we had the Scottish Premier, then there was the First, then there was the Second, and then the Third, and now it's the Scottish Premier, the Championship, and then the First. So it sounds kind of like we got promoted, but we didn't.
Okay, so you're in the First.
Yeah.
Do you have a Scottish Premier team that you also follow?
I have a...
Do you have a Scottish Premier team that you also like to follow?
No.
No use for that.
No use for that. There's no use for following a team that actually does well. What's the point of that? Why would you need to drink before the game?
Very Catholic of you.
If you but if they do well, they get promoted league, right?
Yeah. We played in the playoffs this season to go up but get beat. So they were basically a part-time team for a long time, so they've not long went full-time again, so they're kind of building the squad at the moment.
We're going to get promoted to the championship league. I can feel it. This is our season. I'm ready for our team, Drew. I am 100% in. I can fight a lot.
Yeah.
Team.
Yeah. You have to get completely hammered before a game because it's the only way you can actually watch it.
Done.
No objections from Chris on that.
Done.
You get hammered before the game, and then on the way back, you complain about the manager.
So Drew, I know
that guy. I hate him already.
Drew, I know you've known Chris for a while, and then you've even been on you guys have been on the air together. I don't know if you may have picked up on this, but may not know for sure. Chris is like an eternal optimist.
Yes, it's true.
He's one of the most optimistic people I've met. So what that means is it's really terrific news that he's decided to follow your soccer team, because that means they're now unexpectedly, for no apparent reason, going to start doing extremely well just because of Chris's. He's going to do that. It's going to penetrate all the way to your soccer team. So congratulations, you're about to do quite well.
Yeah.
Now you might be the soccer equivalent of Chicago Cubs fans, and you might actually kind of hate that, but you'll warm up to it. You'll warm up to them being a good team.
You know what it is? It comes from being a Packer fan.
They won a World Series.
It comes from being a Packers fan and all on our 13 NFL championships, and no one else has. No one can take that away from us. Always contenders. No one. Them boys.
They're a bit like being a Glasgow Celtic fan or Glasgow Rangers fan, because they've probably won more trophies domestically, so outside of obviously the Champions League and things like that, they've won more trophies than like Manchester United and Chelsea or Liverpool over the years, because Scotland is basically a two-team league. It's either Rangers or Celtic that win every season in the top league.
Well, Donnie, my other co-host, Donnie, is a huge Tottenham Hotspurs fan. That's his That's his team. And then but that's EPL, right? That's EPL. He likes, and then for La Liga, I think he likes Real Madrid. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Real Madrid is the team that they like. Yeah, so like he's been big, and his wife is from Colombia, so I mean she's huge into soccer. So, so it's funny because we love the NFL, so we're always talking about NFL, but he'll never chime in unless we're talking about either the EPL or La Liga.
Yeah,
and then so. But no, our team's the best. We're gonna win it all. Screw Glasgow Celtics. Screw Glasgow Rangers. They're going down. We're gonna take the throne.
Yeah.
As
right, Chris?
As soon as we get promoted to that league.
We are now fans. Super fans. Yay.
I think biggest claim to fame this season was fucking Elton John played at our stadium. That's about it. It went shit, but Elton John played at our stadium.
That's not great. A bad brag, though.
No, that's really great. He's fantastic. I've seen him live. He's amazing. The guy is so good.
Plus, I think it's Sir Elton John.
Has nothing to do with soccer, but he's still great.
For sure. I don't know how good he would be without Bernie Taupin, but he's still quite good.
No, I was just having this conversation earlier with somebody else, but it's like, wait, were we talking about that? That's how often we talk that I forget if we've talked about something before.
Random couple of questions I've had.
Yes.
Sent to me. Someone wants to know what our craziest podcast stories are, and that is from Wee Creepy Bastard on Twitter.
Yes, that's great. I love him already.
I love his name, Wee Creepy Bastard.
Yeah, he's.
Well, I don't.
I
don't mean to dog on the people that are submitting questions, but that's not a very creepy question from a guy that's called Wee Creepy Bastard.
You should see what he looks like.
All right, fair enough.
Watch him. He's basically Warwick Davis from Leprechaun. That's who he is, right?
Yep. Who wants to go first?
Craziest. I'm trying to think. I mean, anytime I'm with you, Drew, that's obviously one. Craziest podcast question. Well, I'm so vanilla. We just go into the bunker, we laugh for a little bit, and then we leave. That's.
I don't know if I've got anything that's considered crazy. Are we assuming that the question is something crazy that happened on our show?
Yeah, or something we did that was crazy, or a guest, I'm guessing.
I guessed it on one that I had to watch 2 movies for, and 3, and we talked for like 2.5, 3 hours, and then it never got released. So,
Yeah.
Does that count? I was not pleased.
Whose podcast was that?
I will not say.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, even if you don't say the name, Drew's going to deliver the message regardless.
Right.
This isn't advertising, by the way. This isn't advertising. They've already turned me down.
But what is that? Is that oven cleaner? What is that?
That's I Am Brew. That's Scotland's national soft drink.
It's a soft drink?
Yeah, it outsells Coca-Cola about 41 in Scotland.
What's it taste like?
Coca-Cola.
No, it's got a weird random kind of like ginger type taste to it.
Is it like ginger ale?
Not really. It's basically the weirdest soft drink in the world. It's like,
now all I want in the world is to drink that. That's all
Yeah.
I want in this world right this second is to drink it. Hold it up. Let me see the color.
You know, no matter how strange it tastes, you can send it to Paul Shomo and he'll drink it.
yeah, it's
He'll
basically
drink,
orange.
he'll drink people soup.
It's basically orange coloured, and basically all it is sugar and caffeine and everything that's not particularly good for you.
Well, drink up, buddy.
Chug it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and find some. I'm gonna have to try it. It's gonna be the growth. Do you have it down in? I'm sure it's kind of big in Texas. Do you have Big Red down there, Chris?
You know, it's probably still around, but it's not like it used to be. Like, you can search
Big
it out.
Red
But
it's cinnamon. It's just cinnamon soda. It's
Yeah.
so gross.
I mean, I definitely know what it is, but I don't know anybody that drinks it anymore.
It's like drinking Red Stripe gum. So yeah, it's just gross. I'm a Dr. Pepper guy. That's what I drink a lot of Dr. Pepper. I like Dr. Pepper.
I'm so glad to hear you say that because that's my favorite.
Yeah, buddy. We're basically twins.
For sure.
Separated at birth.
No,
by 9 years.
We're literally like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito from Twins. I think that's what you meant.
You know what? I'm recording an episode on Twins on Wednesday. I don't even know it's going to come out, but it eventually it will.
Well, if you and I lived in the same place and hung out together, I would. You could just refer to me as your pocket friend. I think that's what it would be.
You and your fam could live in my spare room, and then just.
Yeah, I would just be your pocket friend. I don't want to ignore our guy's question. I don't know if anything crazy's happened on my show. I've had unexpected things happen on my show. Like, definitely when I had Derek Gotze from Vernon, Alabama come on and talk about D.B. Cooper, that whole episode was unexpected because I thought it was really compelling, and I think he may have discovered the real identity of D.B. Cooper. And then
he was gonna murder you, right? I'm just kidding. I don't know.
I talked him out of it.
Yeah,
we're good. Yeah, we're good. And then the other thing that happened was I had Ellen Latson come on my show, and she's a former child actor, and she played Ruby Sue.
Ruby Sue.
She played Ruby Sue from Christmas Vacation, but she also played Michael Douglas's daughter on. Help me out, Chris. It won an Academy Award for crying out loud. With
I'm gonna leave you hanging.
Please don't do that. This is live.
It's with Glenn Close. Glenn Close.
Yes.
Glenn Close. Michael Douglas.
Yeah, Fatal Attraction.
It is
Fatal Attraction.
Yeah,
yes.
Fatal Attraction.
So her first acting role ever was as the daughter in Fatal Attraction, which won an Academy Award. And like I do with most of my guests, I was just going to have kind of a lighthearted, entertaining interview with her and ask her stuff about herself and about acting with that crazy cast from Christmas Vacation with Randy Quaid and the dog and all these just really surface level questions, and then unexpectedly it got real deep real fast, and we ended up talking probably 2/3 of the show about the difficulty that she's had for the last 20 or 25 years transitioning from being a child actor into her adult life, and she got really
super deep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not quite sure, and I'm not saying this critically. I'm saying this, I appreciate her doing this. I'm not sure if anyone's come on my show in the first year, in the first 60 episodes, and been as candid and honest and compelling as she has been. It was, and Drew, you've probably experienced this because you've had lots of people from the movie business and whatnot, and some really terrific guests. But no one has given me more in an interview and been more personal and more candid than Ellen Latson has. And like a lot of people that have been on my show, they become friends of mine. Not close friends, but friends. We walk away with real relationships.
Yeah.
On those interviews, and to this day I just think about that interview, and she gave me so much more than I would have hoped, and I just really appreciate that. I mean, she told me a very personal version of her story, and it made me think a lot. And so that is not crazy, but I had to ad lib about 2/3 of that interview because that wasn't a topic. We were going to talk about crazy movie experiences, and so if you listen to that episode, the last part of that's not nearly as organized as the first part because I wasn't quite ready to go into that territory. So I really enjoyed it. I think it came out fine.
Yeah, I find that I either leave an interview with people that are now friends, because a lot of my ex-guests from my old show are now friends with me on Facebook, or we're now enemies, but are enemies. It's always fun.
And that's fine too.
I met Dan. I met Dan from Dan and Cody podcast on your show, and we're super close now. Like he's driving up to be on the show, and he's gonna be in my fantasy football league. He's driving up to be in the draft and everything too. That was a fun. That was actually one of the craziest ones too, because I met. It was one of my first guesting. First time guesting was on your show with Dan, and that was a lot of fun.
That was a good show.
I didn't know that was the first time you met Dan.
I think we follow each other on Twitter, and then we're part of Pardon Family and stuff together too. But then he's like, "Oh, Dan from the Dan and Cody podcast." I'm like, "Oh, cool." And then we just hit it off. But yeah, that's the first time I met him.
Yeah, that's great, and their show is terrific. I really like it. Maybe for in the category of shows of two guys kind of covering a variety of topics, their style of show, I think they're one of the best. They're really, really good.
For sure.
And they have amazing chemistry, and both of those guys bring different things to the table than what the other guy does, and it works really well.
Yeah. It works especially well because you know that they're not bullshitting the friendship type thing. There's a lot of these podcasts where it's like two people co-hosting, and they fucking hate each other.
Those ones are almost always my favorite, though. When you just feel the tension in the room. And it's like, ooh, is this the episode where they're gonna kill each other?
It'd be like if me and Duck Benedict or you Ball or someone like that co-hosted the show.
Oh man.
Or Ken Shamrock, because apparently he's still wanting to fight me.
I'd like to see that, actually. I'd like to see that matchup. I'd also like to hear you co-host a show with Scott Doucette, if you don't mind to do
that. We basically did that on the last one.
I don't think it never got released, though. I don't think.
The podcast episode's not been released. He's still working on his season 2. I believe he's waiting until he's got them all ready, and then he's going to put them all out. I don't know if that's a thing now. You put the whole season out at one time. Is that something they do now in podcasts?
If you're Netflix and you have 6 episodes, I think you do. If you're an independent podcast,
did it.
I'm not sure if you do. Yeah, maybe. I'm not a pro, so I'm not going to question him.
What else? What else do the weird people? The weird. What's his name?
We creepy
something else?
bastard.
We creepy bastard. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was his only one. I had a couple on Facebook from Jared Finn, who's a filmmaker. He asked me who the worst filmmaker was out of Tommy Wiseau and Hugh Ball. Tommy Wiseau, you don't know, made a movie called The Room, which is regarded
The Room.
as it's one of the
The
worst
Room.
movies ever made.
Yeah. Oh, hi, Mark.
I'd still say Hugh Ball has him beat for being the shittiest filmmaker out of those two. At least Tommy Wiseau's movie had some, character to it. It was so shit it was good. Whereas Hugh Ball's movies are just shit.
Oh, they're the worst.
So, Drew, I do have a horror movie related question for you.
Mm-hmm.
How far back in horror movies, in the history of horror movies, do you go in terms of your knowledge?
Depends on. Well, I know movies from like 1908 and stuff like that, but
Okay. So you may not be able to answer my question, but you're my best source on this. I'm going to ask you anyways. I bet you a lot of people have stories like this. When I was much younger, and we had a babysitter over, and I was probably I don't know, I was probably in the 5, 6, 7 range.
And she died.
Yeah, because
there was a call coming from inside the house.
Yeah. Is that too cliche? If that's what happened? Is that? No, but I don't know. I don't think we were sitting in front of the TV to watch this movie. I think maybe she had, she brought her boyfriend over and she sent us out back to play or something. They were watching the movie, but I'm going to try this.
No, they weren't.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
That is not what they were doing, Chris.
Probably not. I don't want to think about that. Yeah. So I'm gonna attempt to describe my memory of this movie.
They had sex in your living room.
Stop saying that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to describe what I remember about the plot of this movie, and I want to know if you can identify it, because to this day I've been very curious to go back and watch this movie and decide if it's as scary as I remember it as a grade schooler. If you'll indulge me, are you ready?
Okay.
So my memory of this movie is that all I remember about it is there was a bunch of little evil midgets running around, and they were like killing people by.
That's not a word. That's not the word you use.
Little people.
Yes.
There were. Look, finally, after an hour, the show's getting good. So now I've offended challenged humans. So there's
Is it really wrong that the word that I thought you meant was little? I thought you just didn't need it before midget.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so
you get a tall midget. Come on.
Yeah, that's a good point. That was unnecessary. I was just being the redundant man of redundancy just now. I like it that was your complaint about what I said. Not that it was offensive. It's that I was. Yeah, that's fair. Fair on both sides. I was offensive and redundant. Maybe that's bad. Okay, so there's these vertically challenged human beings, maybe, and they were evil, and they were running around killing people by throwing these orbs at them, these little orbs at people.
So
it had a short title. It had a short title like Blood or the. It didn't have a long title. It was like maybe 2 words. And I wish I had a better memory of it.
Was it Wizard of Oz?
Yes, thank you. Finally, it was actually the Tin Man, and he was on a murdering rampage.
Yeah.
So now I remember.
Wizard of Oz, the Munchkins.
Yeah, it was the Munchkins. That doesn't sound even slightly familiar, does it?
Well, the 2 films that came to mind was Troll, but I don't think that would have been it.
No, this would have been from the early 80s.
Early 80s. See, the first film that was coming to mind when you were talking about little people in orbs was Phantasm, but
no, this was definitely some sort of horror movie, and it was from the late 70s or early 80s, and it had a title like The Blood, or I don't know, I'm not sure. I'm dying to know what that film was. Finally, I'm on with a horror film expert, and I don't have a good enough description to help me come up with the title. All right,
it shouldn't be that difficult because there isn't really that many horror films with little people as the baddies in them. So
Okay. I feel like you're the one person that should be willing to use the word midget.
yeah.
But even you said little people.
Stop saying, don't say that word. That's so bad.
All right, so Drew's willing to say the mother of all cuss words repeatedly, and we're getting hung up on that.
Oh, I'm not talking about. Drew could say whatever he wants. I'm just messing with you, though, Chris. That.
All right, well, the next time I'm on another person's podcast who's an expert on horror films, I'm going to keep asking my question until I get an answer.
Oh, burn.
But I can only say that because you're 8,000 miles away and there's an ocean between us.
Yeah.
He's coming for you.
Yeah, I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning and somehow he's standing over my bed.
Just drinking iron brew. Just guzzling it down. Here for you, boy.
Uh-huh.
You insulted me and my show. Here, drink some iron brew. I'm going to pour it right over your face to wake you up.
And I'm gonna unexpectedly just hop onto my bed and punch him in the junk. just a sneaky shot. Yeah, just a quick shot to the junk.
Any other
What else we got?
Jared also asked, "Are fat kids easy to kill?" Which is a throwback to an episode we did on my podcast, which was the title of it.
Oh, you got some hate for that one too.
Yeah.
Like I love promoting you, Drew, on Twitter, but like sometimes I'll get people like, "What is this? What is the title of this podcast?" so like when I'm typing it into Twitter, I'm like, shoot, I'm gonna get some blowback for an episode. I'm just listening to it. I didn't make it. It's funny.
Yeah, I think the full title was "Fat Kids Are Easy to Kill but Hard to Kidnap" or something like that. It was something along those lines, but it was something that he had said on the show.
Easy to catch.
Yeah,
it's easy to catch, but not to kidnap. Yeah. See, I listen to your show because I love you.
But I thought it was quite a tame title compared to some of the others. You know, I got a lot more hate over my Elm Street one.
Oh, that one was bad. Not like I got what you were saying because like I understood because it's like it's a franchise. That one lady, she just lost her nuggets over it. It was crazy.
Yeah. I felt like I possibly let that conversation go on too long as well. I should maybe just have stopped replying. But it was one of those, I was like, shit, have I actually done something that's really bad here, or should I stand my ground? And I just went, fuck it, I'll stand my ground. And I just...
Well, it was funny because it was on me promoting you.
Yeah.
When it got... And so I was included in all of these back and forth between Drew and this lady that was pissing him for a title of his film. And I'm like, wait, I didn't even make this thing. And so it's just this back and forth, like, wait, what is happening? I don't understand. I just like my friend Drew. I just want to promote his show.
She also quite helpfully went and reviewed my podcast on iTunes and gave it a 1-star review, which was nice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I've given one-star review before.
I've given maybe 5, 6. But it's been people that have asked for reviews for their podcast. See when people come to me and they go, I'll give you a review for your podcast if you review my podcast. I give them 1-star reviews.
Oh, really?
It's just my instant thing.
See, that's so funny. I actually, I like doing those. I know it sounds funny, but like I don't even ask for one back anymore. Yeah. But I just copy and paste song lyrics, and it's just like this super long review. But I give them 5 stars. But like
that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, so I just like copy and paste, and like I'll change like a word to make it like meet with the title of their. I have a good time with them. I like writing iTunes reviews. I do them all the time. So, are you writing one right now, Chris?
No, I'm
Going on?
terrible. I'm terrible at writing. I was looking something up. No, I'm terrible at writing. So even when Josh Hallmark asked us recently to write some stuff, I'm like, Drew, you probably don't know that. Of course, you don't know this, but before I got into podcasting, I thought I was my creative outlet was gonna be a blog, and I wrote a bunch of articles over a period of like 6 weeks and decided. And I don't read blogs, and I hate to read, so it made no sense for me to start a blog. Like it was the stupidest thing ever.
The sad thing is, I never learned how to read.
Yeah, no, like I'm in a group. I'm in a group with some friends of mine where we're going through a book. We're discussing a book, and it would be a great book for me to read, but I hate it so much that I go and I show up and I meet with them, but I don't do any of the reading, which I feel bad
What
about.
book is it?
What is it called? Honestly, I don't remember. It's
not good.
It's see what
That's
happens
not good,
when I try to
Chris.
read. I know. I think it's by Dr. Seuss. Maybe you guys have heard of him, but
Yes.
I'm just such a slow, terrible reader, and I lose focus. So, but I started a blog, which made no sense, and so after about 6 weeks, I wrote some good articles. I was happy with what I created at the time I did, but then I was like, I'm way better at talking than I am at reading and writing. So I try to avoid any writing assignments.
It's probably for the best then. If you can't even remember the name of the book that you're reading, it's probably.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I won't argue with that.
Yeah.
What's your shirt, Chris?
It's actually a pretty funny shirt. It's if you can see it, okay.
Take it off.
Well, then it wouldn't be my shirt.
Yeah.
And then I'd make Drew feel bad, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
He saw my muscular physique.
With your washboard abs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's paper dolls, and as you go across, they're getting increasingly more concerned because their buddy that they're attached to is on fire.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I got quite a t-shirt collection, actually.
So, are you going to take off the shirt or no?
Probably not. Probably
Okay.
not. Unless
enough.
you're going to take yours off. Are you taking your shirt off?
Oh, I'm naked right now. I'm not wearing any clothes.
That's why only your head's on the screen.
Yeah. You podcast with clothes on? I've never been fully clothed for a podcast ever.
Well, no, because you used to broadcast in a sweat box, so I probably wouldn't podcast fully clothed either.
That's true.
Yep. That was the unfortunate piece of information I learned about Anthony Hayes when he was on this. That the majority of the time when he's podcasting, he's doing it nude.
Totally nude.
Yeah.
That's good. It's for the best, really.
That's bold.
Maybe I should turn a light on. I realize that like my face is just slowly getting darker and darker and darker. I should turn a light on.
Yeah, that's bold. Is that true? Does he really podcast nude?
Yeah, that's what he said, yeah. He also records in his closet, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah, no, I've heard that before. I've heard people that there's actually a woman that the guy that's helping me with teaching me some editing stuff. He was helping a brand new podcaster. She went and bought like a plastic bin at the store and manufactured kind of herself this egg crate lined deal, and then sat in her closet. And she didn't know anything about acoustics. She had no background in that stuff. And so for someone with no technical background to just intuitively go do that was pretty impressive, actually. You know, like he didn't give her those instructions. He didn't give her any instructions. Actually, she just figured it out on her own. I think when a brand new podcaster,
hot in that box.
I think when a brand new podcaster is that resourceful on figuring out how to do it the right way, I think that's really cool. Plus, obviously, no budget. You probably spent $10 on that stuff. It's good for her, right?
Yeah.
I think that's neat.
Yeah, I went for the no expense spent way of doing it.
But you know what? That is the backbone of independent podcasting, right? Is to create a great sounding show and execute a great show on a near zero budget, right? Now we're bringing the conversation full circle from the beginning, but I think the one thing that I would tell new podcasters is don't go out and spend a bunch of money. You can spend $50 on a mic and download some free software and sign up for a platform and get your content out there and you're done. Like that's it. And then just create compelling content, right?
Yeah, my advice is always just podcast about something you're actually interested in, because what's the fucking point podcast about something that you think people are going to want to hear? Do it about something you want to do, because fuck all people are going to listen to you anyway. That's not very nice.
Then we'd all just do true crime podcasts then. If that's what we're going to do.
No kidding. Or we do podcasts on how to tell people how to improve themselves in a number of different ways.
Or improve their crime.
Yeah.
Get away with it next time.
How to be more effective criminals. What a great way to mash up those two niches. I wonder if that podcast exists out there. Is how to be the story of a true crime podcast. Be the star. Don't talk about somebody else's crime. Talk about your own. See how long you can get away with it.
It's really funny. I like that. Yeah. I'm in. Let's do
it. The slogan for the show is "You're doing it all wrong," but I'm going to tell you how to do it correctly. There's something there. Every time I've gotten
what time is it right now?
For Drew, it's like 4:30.
What time is it right now?
Yeah, 4:30, which makes it 8:30 for you, maybe.
Yeah, and it's 10:30 for Chris, right? Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is. Mm-hmm. So, Drew, you don't have to get up for anything, apparently.
No, I work from home, or barely work. Whatever way you want to look at it. It's the benefit of being a writer for a living.
I would work from home if my family wasn't there. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. I'm sure they're going to love hearing that.
We've established Chris's wife doesn't listen to his show. So.
Yeah. He doesn't listen to any podcasts, actually. So I've had 3 significant interests in my life since I've known her, 3 hobbies, and she's shown 0 interest in all 3. That's not where we come together on my hobbies.
Well, I mean, for the record, though, also stamp collecting is boring, Chris. Why would she get involved in that?
Well, I know, but
then,
I moved really quickly on
humorous taxidermy is weird.
Yeah, when she said she had no interest in stamp collecting, I was like, that's okay. Look at all the cool things you get out of the bottom of your pocket. And she wasn't interested in that either. What's a guy supposed to do? Yeah. Then I got into Civil War reenactments, and that was not. She didn't like that either. Where do I go with this? Yeah.
Dress up as a fucking superhero and go out and fight crime or something.
Well, I mean, that's on the list. I haven't gotten to it yet. I'm trying a couple other things first, but
then podcast about it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a podcast. I'm gonna launch a whole new podcast about what to do when your wife hates all your hobbies.
Is that not just like every husband in the world?
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I interviewed is it Phoenix Jones, whatever he's called, guy that's the MMA fighter that does the dressing up as a superhero.
Oh yeah, that guy's awesome. Also insane, but kind of awesome.
Batshit crazy, but yeah. Yeah. That was the good thing about my old show was I could interview basically anyone on it because there wasn't really a theme. But that was also the drawback to that show because how the fuck do you market that? See, even with all the download numbers I was getting all these sponsors were basically going, we don't know who actually listens to your show type thing. We don't have a demographic we can promote certain stuff to. So it was fucked. And then the funny thing is, I do this horror podcast, which gets fuck all downloads, and I get a lot of sponsors interested in talking to me about it, and it's like, how the fuck does that work? Although, to be fair, the only ones that have shown beyond the early stages have been alcohol companies. And then I get told by quite a well-known alcohol company that my show was too over the top and too naughty for them, which I thought was quite funny.
Yeah, that's a bit ironic.
You know, like people drink their product and then beat the shit out of their wives, but my show's too naughty.
Yeah, the first description of the first show, that's kind of the same description as my show, except I have no numbers.
Yeah.
At least you're getting numbers.
Well, I used to be. See, that's the problem with doing an offensive show. It offends people.
Yeah, although some of the most successful people in the radio business and radio history have been incredibly offensive.
Yeah.
I don't know. If Howard Stern can do it, why can't Drew Carson do it?
Hey, I suppose
he's in Scotland.
Yeah. Everyone here is offensive.
That's true. You're like everybody else.
Yeah. If I was overly nice, that would make me unique here.
But it'd probably make a terrible show.
Drew, do an American accent.
Oh, what a great idea.
I don't actually think I can. Every time I try to do an accent, I end up sounding Geordie. Or like someone trying to do Scottish, which is weird.
But do it. Just try and do me. Just try and be me or Chris.
Fuck.
I understand that my voice is deep and melodious, but I understand that it's okay. You can do it.
I did fucking accent, mate. It's fucking hard enough trying to do this one.
Yeah, I guess it's interesting because it seems like a lot of people can do a decent Scottish accent or an Irish accent, but if you already have that accent, it's hard to do anything else, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can you do any other kind of accents besides the one you have?
Not really.
Okay, for someone that's from Scotland, can you tell a distinct a difference between people from different places in Scotland or between Scottish and Irish?
Yeah, you can tell the difference between where someone's from in Scotland. Like, I've got a West kind of accent, whereas if someone's from Edinburgh over on the east side, they just sound like a cunt.
That's just the other category.
I mean,
and if they're from Aberdeen, you can't actually understand them.
And it's the same here. Like, you can tell the difference between a Californian and someone from New York, someone from Texas, someone from Georgia, someone from the Midwest. You know, like, it sometimes it sounds like we're not even the same country.
Chris, what's a California accent?
Mine. No, you know what it is? Like, we've established that Californian accents, for the most part, we just use the word dude a lot. And
18 different ways.
And then there's the valley. There's the valley. That's one of the things that people think about where you ever watch the Saturday Night Live skit, The Californians? There's a skit on there that's kind of funny. I don't think I have. Everyone talks like this, and we're from California, and we talk about all the roads, and you get on the 405, and like that's kind of. But basically, what it is, we just say "dude." But for the most part, Californians is actually just how people think Americans sound. For the most part, that's I mean, we just because that's what accent do you hear in the movies? It's just the normal. That's just how normal people talk. So
that's a good point.
But dude gets said a lot in California. And you say it, it's similar to the way Drew uses the C word You know, you just kind of say it whenever.
Yeah, so we say hello.
It's how you say hello, bro. What's up?
Yeah, it's just
Hey, bro.
like, you see your friend at the pub, you're like, all right, my cunt. That's hello.
It's like in Spanish you say amigo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drew, how old of a person are you?
How what?
How old are you?
I'll do the
Think
math.
about it.
I got to think about it there. 35.
Are you 35? That might have actually been my guess. I wish I would have. Why didn't I guess? I passed up a guessing opportunity. That might have been what I would have guessed. Okay. What else I was going to ask you? Oh, so what's the name of the town that you're in? That you're from?
I'm originally from Airdrie, but I live in Glasgow.
Okay, you live in Glasgow. Okay.
Which is basically just the city that's closest to Airdrie.
Oh, is that right?
So, yeah, I lived just outside Edinburgh for a while, but that was shit. Because there's Edinburgh people there, so moved back when people are normal.
Where do people from Scotland vacation?
Mostly probably Spain.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Well, it used to be cheap. It used to be cheap as fuck to go to Spain for a holiday. You could get like a package holiday for a couple of £100, and then you just go and get pissed. But with Brexit, that's made that a lot more expensive now because the euro's better than the pound at the moment.
I heard about that.
Yeah, the country kind of shat the bed on that one.
Yeah, I talked to my friends from Wales about Brexit. They weren't too pleased with it.
No.
I think they might like to have a do-over on Brexit.
Because we don't have political problems here at all in America.
None that I can think of.
We're fine. Oh.
I don't know, Chris. What would you say is our biggest political issue here?
Oh, nothing. We're fine. We're totally fine here. Just good. Yeah.
So good. The best. We're the best.
Our country's literally on fire, but we're fine. We're okay. So.
Yeah. You're living in the reality of, in the background, everyone can constantly hear little tiny hands clapping. He's got another treat.
Drew, do that. The what's her name? The Australian. What's her name? She used to be married to Tom Cruise. Do the clap. Do the clap with the. Do the clap.
Someone tagged her in that on Twitter. That video I did. I felt like a complete dick after I noticed that they'd done that and all.
It's really funny. Well, you know why she did it, right? You know,
because of the jewelry she was wearing.
Yeah, the jewelry. It was like a $500,000 ring, and she's like, no, don't touch it. So.
Yep. But
so, Drew, have you traveled to the States?
Yeah, I've been.
Where have you been?
Like everyone, Florida.
Florida.
He went to Disney World. That's what he meant.
Did you go to Disney World?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yep. It is. Yep. That's where I wanted my honeymoon.
Is that true?
Yeah. That's where I wanted my honeymoon.
That's cool. I've actually never been to Disney World.
It's fun.
I've been to Disneyland, but not Disney World.
Yeah. Disneyland just is Magic Kingdom in for Disney World, for the most part. And like people say like, oh, you have Disneyland, and California Adventures, which is across from Disneyland, is basically like the Hollywood Studios that they have at Disney World. But Epcot is actually my favorite thing at Disney World anyway. Epcot and Animal Kingdom, which they don't have here. So anyway, I don't know.
I went to Knott's Berry Farm too.
Oh, that's the worst. Knott's Berry Farm is like it's like this like cheap version of Disneyland. It's hilarious. Like it's fine, but like you just like you have Disneyland and then Knott's Berry Farm is just like itty bitty. Like
So the last time I was in California was
California.
probably 10 or 15 years ago, and I flew into Burbank, and I stayed at a friend's house, and I went to the Henry Fonda Theater to see a band that's actually from Dallas, but I wanted to see them on the road, and then I came home. So have you ever been to the Henry Fonda Theater in Hollywood? It's
No.
a cool room. It's one of those really cool old theaters.
Yeah.
And actually, upstairs in the balcony, I ran into and met the lead singer of the band I was about to see, which was really cool.
Was the band Dishwalla? Was that the band?
No, it was not. It was not Dishwalla. It was they were called the Polyphonic Spree.
Yeah, Dishwalla, same thing.
No, they're nothing like Dishwalla. No, those two bands are nothing alike.
They're exact thing. Dishwalla and Funky Town Beat, whatever you said, same band.
Yep. Well, the actually Polyphonic Spree is one of Liam's favorite bands.
Yeah, Funky Town Beat.
Yep. Right. Yeah. So that was. But before that, I hadn't been to California since 1990. That's when I went to Knott's Berry Farm and Johnny Rockets.
That's funny. I've been to Johnny Rockets. Johnny Rockets is the worst. Don't even.
Well, it wasn't in 1990. It was slightly better.
Johnny Rockets, nothing is. There's no combos. You have to buy everything a la carte, and none of it's good. So it's like there's no reason to go there. So anyway, Johnny Rockets is like this. We have a Johnny Rockets in Bakersfield, and it stays in business because it's always empty. I don't get it. So.
I think I got a T-shirt too, which is pretty great.
But take that one off right now. Put on the Johnny Rockets one. Give the people what they want, Chris.
All the fans across the world that watch Drew's show that are big fans of Johnny Rockets.
Yeah, and your body.
Well, I mean that's a given.
Ooh, we lost Drew.
I didn't lose Drew.
I lost Drew.
We're just not including him in the conversation.
Shut up, Drew. This is my show now.
It's weird how Drew doesn't have a lot to say about Knott's Berry Farm and Johnny Rockets hamburgers. I'm surprised about that.
Right. Well, he just subsists on an entire diet of soccer grass, iron brew, and haggis. That's all he subsists on.
And whatever that silly soda is that he's been drinking since we've been on.
Yeah, iron brew.
Iron brew. Yeah.
I'm so hungry right now. So hungry.
Yeah. I'm the
Well, Drew has literally been up all night. He's pushing 23 hours now, so
it's fun times.
Holding up like a champ. Yeah, he's holding up like a champ.
Which I'm doing quite well because the last time I did this type of length of time up, I made the mistake of drinking during the live stream. So that ended terribly.
That seems like a terrible idea, actually.
It was a terrible idea.
No, it sounds like an amazing idea to watch, though. Like, I want to watch that.
That had a lot of views before Facebook pulled it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they pulled it. They had something like 50-something complaints. I puked in a bin live on air, so that's what the complaints were for.
Oh, really?
I want to watch it so bad. Do you have it? Just send it to me, please, and I can watch it. I have it on a loop.
It was one of those. I did it through Smile Time, so the moment it was off my Facebook wall, I couldn't find it because they're still in beta testing. But apparently, when they're out of beta testing, all these videos are available again. Yay!
Well, if you'll just send us the email for the founder of Smile Time, we're going to reach out to him and see if he still has that video that he can share with us. I think that's what I'd like to do, actually.
I wonder if he's blocked me on Twitter or anywhere.
I'm not sure, but I like your pronunciation of Twitter better than mine. It almost sounds like you're saying something terrible, but you're not. You're go ahead and finish the word, which is good. I think that's important.
Yeah.
That last syllable is so important. It's really important.
That's just why you expect me to be swearing. So you
Right.
think every word I say is a curse word.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed you played it pretty clean since we've been on tonight.
Yeah, I've been quite clean.
Hope that's not on my account. I feel badly if it is.
No. It's just the way it's went so far.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think the last one, someone counted the amount of times I said fuck, and it was something like 73.
I wish there was some way you could put a counter up on the screen.
Yeah.
So the viewers can tally it. They can watch it tally up.
Yeah, I'm looking to book an episode of this where it will be me and two other Scottish guys. So that would definitely be a drinking game for every time the word fuck's used.
But in that instance, no one else will be able to understand what you're saying. So other Scottish people.
Well, that's probably part of the beauty of it, because one of the people I was talking to about coming on is born as fuck, so people not being able to understand him's a good thing.
It doesn't matter what he's saying. It's not interesting at all. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, so what have you guys got coming up on your shows?
Ooh, I'm gonna let Chris answer first because I'm gonna pull something up because of my terrible memory. I do have an answer for that question.
We are. We're going to be celebrating our anniversary. We have our episode 25, which will air July 5th. Will be our anniversary episode, and we're doing something kind of funny. We're not doing the normal like anniversary show, a big thing, because our June just got completely eaten up with vacation times for all of us. But we're doing something funny for our anniversary. I think everyone's going to enjoy it. But I can't believe that we made it a year. I mean, I know Toph just celebrated his, and he did a great job on his anniversary
Thanks, man.
celebration. But that's about it. I formed a network with 9 other podcasts too, and that's been new and fun and generating a lot of buzz too. So with the Movie Pod Squad Network. But other than that, we're just keep going, doing our thing. We're moving recording places. We're not going to record in the RV that we used to record in. So that's going to be the big. That's the
now
big
they're going to be
for us.
meth
Yeah.
in there.
Yes. Absolutely. Of course. That
I'll
we're
figure out.
gonna be doing Breaking Bad Part 2. Sadly, I'm going to be getting lung cancer soon to make it more real. So I'm
Because you're a method podcaster.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that, but I mean, for the podcast, I want to make sure that it's as authentic as possible. But yeah, that's all we got going on.
Yeah, and we've got some good stuff coming up as well. So we just released an episode where I had Paul Shomo and Donna Hume on, and I recreated the feeling and sound of their show for the interview, which is really fun.
You did a good job. You did a really good job. I listened to it this morning.
Thanks.
You did a really good job. Yeah.
You know, as an independent podcaster with limited time and resources, every single episode I've ever put out, I could have done a little bit differently or a little bit better, but you just run out of time or expertise or whatever. But I was very pleased with how that came out, and they said they were pleased with it too. I'm always concerned. I want my guests to interview the episode.
A lot of cannibalism talk on that one.
Yeah. Again, you know, stuff comes up in my interviews or shows that I'd never expect, and I did not expect Donna Hume, who I think you know fairly well, in the middle of our conversation say that she has a cannibalism pact with her friend.
Yeah,
that caught me off guard.
Came out of nowhere.
Yeah, what? Like that's exactly something Paul would have said, but not Donna necessarily. So if you would have said bet $100 on which one of these two people has a cannibalism pact with a friend, I would have gotten that wrong. So that was a great episode that just came out last night. And so next week we're doing another episode. Adam Lord Saunders will be back with me to do This Week Today, and then I'm really excited about the one after that because I've got that author Marty Andrade, who wrote a book called Finding D.B. Cooper, where he talks about the last piece of credible evidence in the case. And he came on and kind of told me his perspective on the D.B. Cooper case, which is fascinating. But also we talked a little bit about his opinion on Derek Gotze, who was on my show. And that was really cool to hear his input because, Derek out in the world doesn't have the kind of credibility that, say, Marty or some of these other authors or investigators do. So but he gave Derek props on some level, so that was interesting. Then we've got another bad date story coming up, and then kind of like you, we're heading off on vacation. But I'm going to bring a treat to the listener because I'm going to do two reruns, which sometimes that's bad news, but in this case, I'm going to air.
You said listener. You said listener singular.
Yeah, that wasn't a mistake. That wasn't a mistake. I said that on purpose.
That wasn't a mistake.
No, I didn't misspeak there. Sometimes I do the listener, but I actually look back on the calendar to see what did I air exactly a year ago from when I'm going to do these reruns, and they were great episodes. So I'm going to do the 1 year anniversary of Chris and Roxanne, which is a much talked about episode. It's our longest episode. We've never done one anywhere close to that long. But it's with this sounds boring, but it was with my brother-in-law and his wife. But they're so bizarre. They're such bizarre human beings that it's a great listen. And then I'm going to bring back the Mount Rushmore of stand-up comedy in the modern era, and then it just goes from there. We've got episodes already booked and canned well into August, so that'll cover us for the summer. And then we'll get into our fall lineup. We've got lots of ideas coming for the fall, and then which I have to get a bunch of stuff in the can because I've got a baby coming in November. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to navigate that obstacle, but I don't know. Well, my listener gets to find out exactly how I'm going to figure out how to keep the podcast going and have a newborn in my life, and 2 toddlers. So Greg is very interested to find out how I'm going to do that because I think he's the only one that listens to the show. And thank you, Greg, for doing that, for being my listener. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, there you go. Come find us on Twitter, the GravityBeards. I had a website, but I've started to ignore it, so everyone else is too. I realize that Facebook does the exact same thing, and so what's the point of paying for a website?
Yeah.
In my situation. So.
Yeah. I'm starting to think that as well. When it comes to websites, you can take as much traffic just through your social media as you can ever do for a website anyway.
Well, I think if you're using it well, like I think Paul and Donna use it really well. I think Chris does a great job of using his website, especially for the movie Pod
thanks,
Squad.
buddy.
Yeah, I mean they're using a website the way you should. If you do it in a really half-assed way, the way I've done it, then you really don't need to be maintaining a website. There's no point. Yeah, but I've seen a lot of independent podcasters use websites very effectively. I'm just not one of them.
Yeah, I think people mainly come to mind for the comic that's on it.
Yeah.
So they're like, we like the comic book, but fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got what have I got coming up? Fuck. I think I'd be better prepared. I've got a couple of interviews I'm supposed to be doing this week, but don't know if they'll happen. I have a habit of offending people when I'm on the phone to them. So there's that. I'm going to be reviewing the original Mummy movie with
that's cool.
Boris Karloff. So that's coming up. And I've got a round table.
I think you had it there, ready to go. I love that. That's so great.
Yeah, I'm very good at that. It's like I have other stuff ready to go. Like,
yeah, what else you got?
Like this one for slagging off because Rob Zombie's a cunt. Got my phone, which is apparently got a Hulk on the back of it. There's a theme,
nice.
As you'll see. Got like, I think I was getting fucking sponsored by Marvel or the fucking Marvel stuff I've got sitting around me. That's about it. I thought there was more stuff than that, but there you go. But yeah, I've got a round table coming up, which is probably going to be on British horror So I've got a couple of British folk coming on that one. Ironically, it'll be the one I'll probably swear the least on, because I have an English guest and they don't like the word cunt. Which is funny because they are cunts.
For the record is I don't think anyone likes that word. It's not like a likable word.
It's just like saying buddy. I don't see that.
I don't know if that's true. That's not necessarily true.
I wouldn't go up to my mom and say, "What's up, buddy?" So
my mum has called me a daft cunt before.
Huh.
I believe that. That I believe.
That's a culture thing,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, so I've got that coming up. I've also got, this every Monday. I'd fucking say the name of whoever's coming on next week if I could remember who it was. Can't off the top of my...
They're not.
If it was 4:30 in the morning where I was, I wouldn't remember anything either.
Yeah. And Drew Carson show's coming back at some point on YouTube, possibly with, to name drop, possibly with Katie Tunstall appearing on the show. So
she's great.
It should be pretty good. So that's all I've got coming up. So what's all your social medias for folk to find you? This is the first episode after, like, I've done 2 before this. This is the first one I've actually asked that on air. That's how fucking professional I am. What's your social media so people can find you online?
Go ahead, Chris.
Go ahead, Phil. Oh, okay. I'll go. You can find our show, More Gooder Than, at MGT Podcast on Twitter or on Facebook. Look for us under More Gooder Than. Same thing on Instagram, More Gooder Than. You can go to our website, mgtpodcast.com. So, of course, you'll find us on our network, which is moviepodsquad.com.
Awesome.
Yeah, and for us, GravityBeard is on Twitter at @GravityBeard. Some guy squatting on GravityBeard without the B and not using it, so good for him. We're on Facebook under GravityBeard. Yeah, hate that guy. Hey, Drew, could you track him down and harass him? Because then I think if you do it, he might actually give it up. So that would be great. We do have an email address. It's contactthebeard@gmail.com. I don't think we've had a listener. I don't think our listener has ever emailed us there. So no one's actually used the email, but we do have one, which is fun. But that's it. We've got a decent presence on Facebook and Twitter. And then, of course, just a quick reminder, the Underdog podcast community and Underdog Pods on Twitter as well. So that's been really fun. I think, we're getting pretty close to 200 people on there, which is great. And my favorite thing about it is that it's a much wider range of show types than I think I ever would have expected. We've got our fair share of true crime, but I've come across or seen guys join the group that have some of the most creative shows I've ever seen since I've been in podcasting. So it's been great to be a part of that.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot less arseholes on that group than in most other podcast groups, which is always a good thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you know what? One, I think we started out the group by inviting our friends. You and Paul Shomo and Chris and some others that we were the closest to. And then I think they just draw like-minded people. They're not jerks, so we don't have jerks joining the group. But then Paul Shomo is a lot more vigilant. I added him as a moderator, so he's if he sniffs somebody out, they're gone. He has little patience for it, so he's been a great partner in the group. And I love Paul for many reasons, but I appreciate him for that as well.
I like just absolutely dicking with people that are in groups like that. When someone's just posting something that's totally off topic, I just like fucking with them for a while. I did that today, yesterday for me on the PDC. Someone they'd said, I can't remember what this stupid thing was for. They share a story or something, and the guy just fucking put his link. So I just fucking took a piss at him for like 5 messages with him coming back saying like, "Oh, it was an accident. I meant that to go somewhere else." And I'm like, "Yeah, fucking sure you did." Get to fuck. But yeah, that's one of the things that puts me off a lot of groups is the fucking arseholes that just link drop. Says the guy that's fucking link dropped constantly on the Rogs group for this episode. Yeah. So we'll wrap up the live show. Just like to say thank you for coming on the show. It's been great talking to you guys. And for
Thanks,
the
Drew, buddy.
and for the viewers that popped in and out, it was fun for you to pop in and out or whatever.
Yeah, and Drew, let me say this. Despite your colorful reputation, and you do have one, to me personally, you've been a great friend. It's been really
thanks.
great to get to know you in the short time that I've been in podcasting. And you've been nothing but helpful and supportive, just like everybody else I've encountered in this community. So thanks for that. And in addition to that, you were nice enough to have me on here. So thanks for letting me be a guest as well.
No, it's been great to get to know you. And we'll say bye to the audience. I like to do bye that way to them, but
I'm going to go with this. I'm going to do this. Yeah.
See you guys.
Thanks.